We are Tamschick Media and Space. We are very happy for the invitation of today. We feel a little bit like aliens in the setup because we come from a niche market that is using media, using digital signatures or in screens or projection in general to enhance spaces. And so my name is Moser. I'm head of new business. And in front of me is Dirk Ostkamp. He is the technical director and involved on field in all the big projects we have worldwide. So let me see how this one works. All right. So basically what we do in our everyday life is that we... That's my beard. This is my beard. We basically work in two, I would say, main fields. One main field is the world of the brands. So we create brand experiences all around the world for big corporations that want to transmit certain, let's say, technologies, complex ideas or products that they have, and really want to try to explain them to everyone. Or we really have the big customer experiences, like the Heineken experience in Amsterdam, or for other big brands that we all know from our daily life. And on the other side, we work with big institutions, museums, research centers to really try to bring complex content to the people. So we consider ourselves as a media company. We do produce the content mainly, and over the past, I would say, 15 years, the company has also got a broad expertise when it came to the architecture, to the scenography. Scenography, for those who don't know what it is, so this is basically our world. We have a blank space, and then together with architects and our concept teams, we try really to find a red dot, how to tell a story within a room. And then we create the content, and then comes the tech department that tries really to merge what's possible on the top edge of high tech to really enhance the media that we produce. And today we came with, let's say, five main, let's call it questions or also challenges on our world. And because we consider ourselves as on a spaceship cruising through all the different kinds of industries that are existing, and to bring a little bit a field report on the world that we come from and how media and media content producers try to use the technologies that are displayed here today, partially also, to really enhance and to bring new experiences, different way of really creating sustainable and long-lasting content that touches us, everyone, deep in the heart. So basically, those five questions are how technology can serve storytelling. And actually, we bring to every of those five questions, except of the who we are, obviously, doing here, projects, which are also chronologically by coincidence. Then we have also challenging technologies and suppliers, because we also really try to work close hands with the technology suppliers, with the system integrators, to really try to that they fulfill our dreams within the budget, obviously. Then the importance of R&D. How can we bend the technologies? How can we use technologies that might not fit at the first glance to whatever we want to do? Participation, also Dan's presentation before. How does it has an impact, and how meaningful can this be? And then last but not least, how can we also transform existing spaces or sensitive spaces into something like really particular through media and technology? We got a new logo. But yeah, this gives you a little bit a glimpse and an idea on the world that we're coming from. And I will hand over to my colleague with the first question on, let's say, the big theme of today's presentation. How does the innovative usage of media, and most of you probably come from the hardware side, enhances spaces and engages the audience in a different manner? Dirk, the speech is yours.
Okay. Oops, it's loud. Hello, everyone. So that's a little bit about our work. Previously, you've seen just a wrap-up of things we're doing mainly in the commercial field. There haven't been like all our museums projects, all our temporary projects. So, but coming to the question, how technology serves the storytelling of a project. So TMS is coming from strong storytelling background. We are all filmmakers. We are not architects in the beginning, so that's the history of the company. And our strength is to get content and find the right way to explain it, to engage people, to be part of it. So this is a pretty old project, but still one of my favorites, or one of our favorites, is the time machine in Wuxi, China. So I'm just running a video in the background and tell you a little bit. So here it was a stuttery video in the beginning. Here was a task to tell a story about the King Hilu and the past of the area of Wuxi, where we were asked to tell a story and make people experience the story, be part of it, and not just have like the frontal presentation. We always work with some kind of interaction, some kind of reaction of the spaces, so people are engaged in the space. So here, one super simple element to get people involved into a story is by just simply enlightening them. Having a floor, people walk around and figure something out. And suddenly they become part, they become an actor. For us, it's always like important to see the visitor not as a visitor, to see them more as some kind of one more part of the play. So they are in a theater piece, walk around, play with the space. Here, the challenge was to track all this area and really figure out how people behave in it and how can people engaged. So as it was like an old project, technology by the time wasn't so elaborate. So producing this kind of large format was really a challenge for us. And so we worked a lot with like software resellers and asked them, okay, how can we extend your plugin? It works brilliant on an HD format, but not in this case. So we are constantly in the exchange with technology and software providers to find like the latest solutions to measure this big kind of resolutions. So challenging technologies and suppliers, or vice versa, how technologies and suppliers are challenging us all the time. This is the Motor Studio Goyang for Hyundai, where we had this brilliant kinetic sculpture and the task to tell a story about a car and just have a couple of pixels or rods that move up and down. And we had to work with Maxon closely together to figure out a way how to like pre-program this kind of sculpture in a 3D program and get this onto like a real machine that like pushes up and have like the own dynamics. Second challenge for us and for the media playback system was this endless belt of screens that were like in total, I think, 65. They should have been like a continuous stream of images and really drag the visitors to the space. Oh, and finally, with the help like of many third-party people, they helped us to really realize and find like an appropriate way to tell a story of a car, the history of a car, or the history of a car brand with just like metal rods in a very, let's say, elegant way. So now the importance of R&D, as Luc stated, we are like constantly searching for new solutions on how to use a product in a different way. Here it was like the task by Merck, who just released their new OLED panels. And they said, okay, we have a new building between the old building, and we have like a hallway where people pass by to the cafeteria every day and get their lunch. And we want to showcase these little white, boring panels. Boring, we said. So it was meant from the briefing to have some kind of like classical product presentation that shows like the advantages of the technology, the everything that is new about it. And luckily, we teamed up with our client and didn't see him as a client. We did see him as a partner in this, and convinced him to have something that is super abstract, that is super elegant as well. And therefore, we were able to build this massive kaleidoscope with the LED or OLED panels that are like each was individually addressed. We did like a custom software for it. And during the process, the R&D phase never ended. We thought, okay, how to make it intelligent, how to make it like a being, an intelligence. So we found a way to hook it up to data of the building. So how many people are in the cafeteria, how many people are in the building, what the weather outside, and built this machine that had like an own character. So it was like differently behaving on people's present when it was in the morning than in the afternoon or during lunchtime. Most of that project took really like this kind of sitting in a workshop and figuring out how to build it, how to get all like this fire regulations in the space, how to get away from the problem of epilepsy. We did like a lot of tests that people don't fall when they pass the room. And we were super happy that we were able to team up with our partner companies who did the sound, who did like a generative sound that reacted on people, and a little bit like an abstract whispering to you while you were passing by. So one of our latest project, participation and means impact and meaningfulness. We were lucky to work on the last, let's say, 6 to 7 years on a big new venue of the American Museum of Natural History, and we were able to do the Invisible Worlds Theater. The Invisible Worlds Theater is basically a big holodeck that is projected in a like massive resolution. It is like an interactive space. People are completely tracked inside and interact with the show. The task was to visualize and tell a story of highly complex scientific content. So we had the honor to work with like 100 scientists of the museum to develop a 12-minute show that shows everything a human being can't perceive. Is it too big, too small, too fast? And again, participation is the key. We projected on the visitors. We made the scene interactive and were able to open it. The task was more, the one task was really to transform the content to a story that a kid can understand, a non-scientific interested person can understand, but is also accurate. The second challenge was the high demand on high-class technology in the end. So the museum always wanted to like have the best projectors, have the best playbacks. I have 60-channel spatial audio field inside. I have like a triple redundancy for the system to face like business continuity. And that was something me personally were working like for 3 years, figuring out with the museum staff and with the integrators how to build the idea. So in our company, it's often that we have an idea and honestly have to say, okay, how can we do it now? What software can we use? What hardware can we use? Who can we team up? And it's always this kind of vision that leads to a result. And on the way, you have to do like a lot of technology research to find out how to realize it. So here are some images from like the construction phase from our concept. We had tons of sessions with scientists, ask them, okay, is this now the right way to visualize it? No, it's a wrong color. Okay, choose another one. So how to transform existing and sensitive spaces. The project before was kind of like bold, and you had this massive space, and the movie was like the main actor. But we also see media as an enhancement of like installations of museums, and work with a high respect for the topic and high respect for, let's say, every other part of an exhibition. This is only like 1 hour with a train away in Nuremberg. The Raum 600, the courtroom where the Nazi trials were held and the International Courtyard was founded. And they ask us to develop a show that brings life and shows the history of the room without changing it, without having like a big projection that like blocks everything. So the room itself, the architecture was a main actor. We produced like a 15-minute show that brings the space to life again, to show where people were sitting while the trials, what implications the International Courtyard had. Most of the work here also was like dealing with the content, working with the content, writing a script that feels some kind of entertaining is a wrong word, but some kind of like engaging when you're watching it, but has still the respect for a very, let's say, heavy topic in the end, a very important topic. So in here you see how it looked in the end. So we used like a transparent gauze in the foreground. We used room automation for controlling every light, every curtain, and rebuilt the old courtroom how it was, and dig through like tons of historical material of the trials and try to like match the video footage to the actual space and build this hologram.
Yeah, I think so. Basically, we come to the end of our presentation. We haven't really prepared a message, but I think that generally speaking, we would love to get approached by all the tech suppliers, tech R&D companies more often, because usually it's always the other way around. We have great ideas in terms of content. We get approached by institutions that are a little bit desperate to reach out to new audiences and to really use media and technologies to catch them. So shout out to all of those who are in their R&D departments and trying to figure out new technologies and having this lack of front versus back end, and really to use new technologies and also to provide the innovation that we all need in certain fields like brand communication or really education in a broader sense. And yeah, I think we hope that we gave you a little insight of the niche market where we come from, the world that we are dealing with, the clients that we are dealing with every day. And yeah, please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. We've been a little bit faster than the 30 minutes. Thanks for your attention, and yeah, have a good summit.